Hey everyone, Loomaniac here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make my super cute knotted net bracelet. And I named it this because, well, it sounds kind of cute, and also because it looks like a net a little bit. If you stretch it out, it kind of has that look. And it also uses the slip knot technique by Looming Roach. So that's the reason for the name. And this is only a one loom design, but it is pretty wide for a one loom design. As you can see, it's made kind of compact on the loom, but then it extends whenever you take it off. So, and it is inspired by the Dahlia Birch bracelet by Carolyn Hamlin. You will need anywhere between 3-4 colors, something like that, but you could definitely do more if you would like. So I'm going to be using my Rainbow Loom Opaque Black, Opaque Red, and bumped my tripod, and Crazy Loom Metallic Pink. And I typically don't use bands besides Rainbow Loom, but sometimes in the tutorials I use these bright Crazy Loom bands because they show up pretty well. So, okay, so you'll need your loom set up in the rectangular configuration, and the first step is just going to be to place this outer perimeter. So just go to the left and to the right, and then just straight forward. So it has been highly requested that I do more one loom tutorials, so I do have a few more in store. I like to kind of mix them up, like I'll do a one loom tutorial and then a couple of wider bracelets. This is definitely one of my favorite one loom designs because it is pretty wide, which I love wide bracelets. As you can probably tell by the bracelet I'm wearing today, and this is the King's Armor bracelet by NixHaley22 on Instagram and tutorial by Artisan Loom. And just go back into the center. And now we're going to place this single row where I used my Ellie pink bands. I'm not sure the exact name of them, but so just that center row there. And I'm going to use the same pink color. So this design is pretty simple, but we do a lot of hook work. And then kind of place it in after we do that. So you'll see what I mean in just a second. But okay, so now we're going to start doing the X's that are inspired by Carolyn Hamlin. And it makes a very cool look, but they are a bit time consuming. So I'll show you how to do a couple of them, and then I'll go off screen so you can finish them. So basically we are going to put a triple wrapped cap band on our hook. So you're just going to wrap it around once, grab one end, and wrap it around again. So now you should have 3 little loops there. And now you're going to take a black band, or whatever color you want, I'm using black, and you're going to pull this cap band onto it, and double it over here, and now it's kind of up to you how you want to do this. I like to take this cap band and put all 3 loops back on my hook, and make sure you get all 3 of them back on, and kind of hold this band back with your thumb. Get another black band, and pull all of those loops onto it. So now what we have is 2 links, and you can take those off. So grab this first loop here, and slide the second one off. So now whenever you grab both ends of the links here, you should be able to spread it out and see kind of like a little O there. And now what you're going to want to do is come onto this left side and place one of the links on the bottom left corner. And then it's easiest if you stretch the next one at an angle up to the second in the center. So like that. And then you can kind of just set a band right onto that pin. And then I'll zoom in a bit. Stick your hook through, see it's kind of open since we put them spread out. If you had just put it right next to the pin, it would have been a little bit more compact. But you do that. Now stick your hook through all 3 of those loops. Grab that band on one side, bring it over, and you have your 3rd loop. And then we do that once more on this side. And always make sure you go through all 3 loops, because one time on this first one I missed a loop somewhere. Let's see. It's on one of these sides, but right here. So I didn't pull it through that last loop, and you can definitely tell it makes it look a little bit messier. So make sure you grab all 3 loops. And we're going to be doing this on both sides, but you want to go all the way up on your left side first. So don't even start on the right yet, because we have stuff to do before we place the right. So the left side is layer 1, and I'll show you once more. Triple wrapped cap band, wrap it once, grab one side, wrap it again, so you have a triple wrap. And now grab this side, or grab a band, grab all the loops, pull it through, and place that on here. And now you're going to want to kind of hold these bands back, these 2 black bands back with your thumb. Place all 3 loops back on your hook. Place 1 band onto your hook and pull those bands through. Oops. And I missed it. Okay. And now put that back on. So now you have 2 loops, which helps you to put them, whenever you put them diagonal, it spreads the circle out a little bit, so that's what it should look like. Put them at an angle from each other. Drop a black band. Stick your hook through all 3 loops of that cap band. And pull a band through. Place a band on the 4th one. Sorry if the lighting's a little bit bad, guys. And grab it and pull it through. Place it back on. So this is what 2 of your X's should look like. There's some better lighting that way. Okay, so you're basically just going to place those all the way up the left side, and I'm going to do that off screen. If you have any trouble with that step, then you can rewind and rewatch it. It is a little bit tricky at first. Once you get the hang of it, it should go pretty quick. So place those all the way up on the left, and then I will come back to show you the next step. Okay, so I'm back, and I've placed those X's all the way to the end. And if you're doing a full wrap, I feel very bad for you, because I'm sure that took quite a long time. But the good news is you get to do it on the right side, too, in just a few minutes. So we have one more step first. I'm going to flip this loom around. And we're going to go ahead and loop out what we call layer 1. So just remember that this is layer 1, so that'll help for our looping of layer 2 after we place it. So we are going to ignore these bottom 2 bands. We're not even going to touch them here. So go up to your, gosh, sorry guys, keep bumping my tripod. So go up to your 2nd row, and you're going to grab just the bottom 2 bands from the outside and bring them over. Like so. And same thing over here. So bottom 2 bands, and flip them over the top and drop them. Bottom 2 bands, bring them over the top and drop them. Maybe if I can get it. There we go. So you're just doing that on both sides of each pin, except for we will not do the top one. So you'll skip this. So any of them that have just 2 bands, we're not doing those. So I'm going to go off screen again and let you finish that up, and I'll be right back to show you how to place layer 2. Okay, so now that we have just finished looping over those bands for layer 2, if my camera will focus, there we go. Now we can flip our loom back around, and we're going to be placing layer 2, which I meant layer 1 a second ago, but now we're placing layer 2. So it's important to remember that this bottom layer should have 2 bands on every single pin, because we are going to be placing those same X's and looping over the bottom 2. But whenever we loop over the bottom 2, we only want to loop those over on layer 2. So we don't want to accidentally grab these 2 bands that are on layer 1. So a little bit tricky, but I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. So we're doing that same X pattern, unfortunately. I know it's kind of boring, but you're just going to do that again, triple wrap it, pull a band through, place that cap band back on with all 3 links, pull another band, grab both of those loops. Ah, man. Hate when that happens. These take long enough as it is, but... And if you're pretty good with the hook, then this might not take as long, but I am not, so... Oh boy. I think it's harder if you don't do both of them at once. So, alrighty, I think I got it. So now you have both of those links and should spread apart like this. And now we're placing them on that diagonal again. Now drop 2 bands that would complete that square. Stick your hook through all 3 of those loops and pull that loop over and pull that loop over. So this should look familiar because we just did this on the left side. And now we're doing it for layer 2, and you're going to place those all the way up your loom just like you did before. So I'm going to go off screen and finish that up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've just finished placing layer 2, and I know it's kind of hard to see, sorry about that, but it's just those X's all the way up. And now we're going to be doing that same step where we flip over the bottom 2 bands, but it's very important because in the middle we have 6 bands here, and the very bottom 2 are your 2 bands from this first layer that you've already flipped over. So you do not want to flip over those bottom 2. You're going to flip over the middle 2. So on this one here, there's still just 2 bands from this layer and 2 bands from that one. So we're going to skip this row here, because whenever we loop over on this center row, we want 4 bands to be left on each, but right now there's 6. So we're going to ignore those bottom 2 and ignore the top 2. Grab the middle 2 and flip them over and drop them. And I know it's hard to see. Sorry guys, I picked a really bad color. I thought black would show up good on my white background, but... And now we're ignoring those top 2 and ignoring the bottom 2. Grab the middle 2. And it's kind of hard to get sometimes, but especially since you can't really see me, but hopefully my explanations make sense. So move those top 2 out of the way, just grab those middle 2 and flip them over. So you will do that all the way up the middle, and whenever you're finished, there should be 2 bands left on each layer. So like if you grab these 2 where I just flipped them over, you can see that's all part of just layer 1, and then this is of layer 2, and this is layer 1. And there shouldn't be any bands besides those. So basically, you just have the top 2 bands of each layer. I gotta place those back on. Okay, so you will do that all the way up, and then on this other side, it'll be the same as before. So we don't do anything on this one, but we flip over the bottom 2 on this side. Bottom 2, bottom 2, and we just do that all the way up. So I am going to go off screen, and I'm going to finish looping over the bottom 2 on the outside and the center 2 in the middle. So I will be right back. Okay, so I just finished flipping those over, and just a reminder, we didn't flip any over on this top row because we want 4 here and 2 on the outside. So those were already the right amount of bands. So now we're ready to just loop out these perimeters, but we're going to do something a little bit different on the outer perimeter, so I'll just show you. Sorry, that was my chair, if you heard that noise. So now we'll just place a cap band here. And now we're going to push back all of those bands on top and grab the band that goes straight forward. And pull it there. And just loop that straight forward. And there are quite a few bands on top of it. There's 4, I think, yeah, 4. But they aren't, it still doesn't put much tension on the bands below at all. And now we need to do the outer perimeter, which is pretty simple. We're just going to loop these over to the left and over to the left. And now we are going to grab this bottom band, the bottom black band right here, grab it from the outside, bring it over the top, and drop it. And now we'll loop 1 perimeter forward. Grab just this bottom black band, bring it over the top and drop it. Loop 1 forward, bring it over the top and drop it. Loop 1 forward, bring it over the top and drop it. And we'll do that all the way up the left side, and same thing on the right. We'll grab that bottom black band, bring it over the top and drop it. Now loop forward. Find the bottom one, they were kind of mixed up there. So if they're twisted, just kind of move your hook around so that you make sure you grab the bottom one only. Then loop forward. bring the bottom one over. And you will continue that all the way up your loom until you get to here, and I'll be right back just to show you how to close it off real quick. Okay, so I flipped all those over, including this one. And now we're just going to go in this left corner, pull that band into the middle. Right corner, pull the band into the middle. And now we will stick our hook through everything on that pin, pull that band through, and we will attach our C-clip, which I have to find. There we go. So attach your C-clip, and now you'll just want to carefully remove it. I recommend doing it with your hook, but it isn't no bands or too tense on it. So if you kind of carefully remove it with your fingers, that should be okay too. There's some bracelets you have to be really gentle with, but this one's pretty stretchy, so. And now you pop it off the loom, and depending on the band you use, sometimes they don't look quite as nice. And I did use the Crazy Loom bands, so they never turn out quite as great as Rainbow Loom, but still good bands. So here's what it looks like, and I definitely should not have used black. It looks really cool in person, but I can tell through my camera that it doesn't look too great. But you'll want to kind of stretch it this way. But like I said, it has a very netted look, which you will see when you make yours. It's kind of, I don't know, it's really cool. I like this one better because you can see the colors better, but has a very cool netting look, so that is why it is called the Knotted Net Bracelet. So hopefully you guys like this design, and if you do, then you can give it a big thumbs up below, and also subscribe to my channel. So since I just did a 1 loom design, I'll probably be doing a 2 or 3 loom design next, probably for this design right here, if you guys want a little preview of that. So you'll probably see this one next on my channel, but yeah, just please subscribe below, and also if you make one, then please post it on Instagram, tag me at Loomaniac, and also use the hashtag Knotted Net Bracelet so I can see all your renditions in one place. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.